Hey, 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 good morning, everybody. Welcome to Finally Free. I am your host, Professor Dolores Jones, the comeback coach. And as always, it is a pleasure to have you joining me wherever you're watching or wherever you're listening from. Again, remember, I am broadcasting exclusively visually on the Fly Nubian Queen Network. So I hope you come on over and join me. Got to say hello to Canada this morning. Hello to Texas. Hello, Florida. Hello, Ghana. I mean, it's all over the world, and I'm so grateful. Also, here locally in Kansas City, where I am from, I'm here at the Power 98.5 FM radio station, KUAW, and it's my year celebration of Finally Free. That's right. I mean, sometimes you think about things that you can't do on your own, and the thing is you won't know unless you try it. So for over 20 years, I have worked in broadcasting and worked for various stations, and I am so grateful. But this was the first time that I've taken on all of the roles as producer, host, sales team. And so eventually I'll be looking for some of you guys to come on and join me, right? Well, let me tell you something. I am so happy. Come on over, sweetheart, with this beautiful woman who's in the studio with me. I am so happy to have author Gayle Anderson in the Finally Free studio with me. And we're broadcasting live with the Fly Nubian Queens. So they need to see you. Come on and have fun on this microphone. I won't bite you. Right. And I never hurt my guest. Okay? Okay. But the title of this particular show is called I Woke Up Hating Myself. And I got a confession, Gayle. So this morning I got up, and my routine is usually I take Bella for a walk, and then I jump in the sauna, or I jump in the sauna and then take Bella for a walk. Well, this morning I was kind of dragging. That's because last night I did something that I said I wasn't going to do anymore. Uh-oh. Yeah. About 12:30, I ended up at McDonald's in the drive-through again. Okay. Again. And so, they have this wonderful McDonald app. And so you can get like their major sandwiches like Big Macs and fish sandwiches and all that for $1. All right. Yes. And then you can get like a large fry for $1. So I'm in the drive-through, and maybe it was an act of God that was trying to help me. So I was pulling up the app, but it wouldn't show me the $1 Big Mac. And so I'm like, holding up the line, and I'm telling the guy, I'm going to find it because I'm excited. But I done backslid back into them French fries. Okay. Yes. Jesus help me. Be a fence. Take the wheel. So next thing I know, I get out of the car. I go inside, and the coupon still won't come up. Now that should have been my moment to just leave. Right. Oh no, I was persistent. And eventually the manager said, you know what? Just take it. Just take this Big Mac, take these French fries. And you know what? Your fries are cold. So we're going to give you an extra thing of French fries. And on top of that, we're going to give you a mango smoothie.
Oh, wow. Not the mango.
The mango smoothie. A large mango smoothie. So now I'm in my car, and it's almost 1:00 in the morning. And by the time I get home, I didn't waste that food, right?
Right.
I caught myself feeling better because I took the top piece of bread off, and then I gave Bella the 1 cent with the one burger. So that left me with the mac sauce and all that. Anyway, but when I woke up this morning, I felt horrible. Yes. I felt horrible. And so now I'm out walking this morning, and I'm just like, the thought came to me, I woke up hating myself. Because the reality is a lot of us do that. We don't like how we look. We definitely don't like how we feel. Right. Some of us don't like the fact we've made poor decisions in life. But the reality is it happens to all of us. And so one way of moving beyond waking up hating myself, I thought I'd bring you on the show for sure, because you know what we're talking about. Yes. The other thing is I've adopted a new motto. And you know how a lot of people will say, practice what you preach?
Yes.
And that kind of sets you up. So I've changed that in accordance with what Les Brown said the other day, that I am going to preach what I practice. Therefore, I won't be so quick to be a hypocrite. Right. Therefore, I also will be a little patient with myself. Okay. So if I'm telling you to practice what I preach and then I don't practice it, then now I'm feeling some kind of way. But if I say I'm going to preach what I practice, then I can say to y'all, the other day I was in bed with 24 fun size Snicker bars. That's right, girl. And within, come on in it. And within a matter of a day and a half, I ate all of them.
Wow.
I know.
Are you like me? Because I used to be with studies, and I would always have a snack here, and before I know it, the whole bag of M&Ms are gone.
Uh-huh.
And it's just maladaptive behaviors that we don't realize that we have done. And so my thing is, live within your purpose.
Okay.
And at one point in my life, I didn't feel. I mean, like you would tell people to live within their purpose.
Right.
Well, how can I tell people to live within their purpose if I'm not living fully in mine?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And so then I became encouraged because I was like, Gayle Anderson is coming on the show, and you lost 225 pounds.
Yes.
Okay. You've also the author of a book, Effective Immediately.
Yes.
And that's a novel. We'll get into that. But I want some effective tips. But let's just start with you where you were, because for some of us, I have been following you on Facebook for over a year.
Yes.
And we were going to connect. And now today is the time, right?
Right.
You just got back from a conference called BBW's Big Beautiful Women, or is it BAB?
BAB, Big and Beautiful Singles. It's BABS, an acronym. And I just got back from their summer jam kind of meet and greet from people mainly on the East Coast. I think I was probably the furthest who traveled from Kansas City, but I had a blast.
BABS is Big and Beautiful Singles. And then there was an acronym for men. So Queens and Kings. What was the one for men?
BHM, which is Big Handsome Male.
Yes, I saw some of them too, girl. I think you got you one. We're going to talk about it. Mm-hmm. All right. But let's talk about that. Mm-hmm. You lost 225 pounds.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever wake up hating yourself, and why?
I've always been a heavy girl. Growing up, I was maybe 25 pounds overweight throughout my life. Mm-hmm. But at one point it was just out of control, and I didn't necessarily hate myself. I didn't like who I saw in the mirror. Okay. And now, what prompted me to pursue weight loss surgery is when I had a stroke.
Okay. That was your motivation.
That was
a stroke.
Part of it.
How young were you?
I was 2011. So I was 42.
Wow.
Years old. Mm-hmm. And I had just enrolled at Wichita State University, going through a bad divorce, and I had the worst headache ever. And it was hot around this time, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? And went to the doctors, and they couldn't find anything. And she said, well, let me get your MRI. We're going to schedule an MRI. And it was conclusive that I had lesions on my right frontal lobe. So then a year later, I had a mini stroke, a TIA. And my doctor said, if you don't get yourself together now, you're going to be a pretty face in a casket, or you're going to be debilitated. You won't be able to walk or paralyzed.
So do you care to share what your original weight was when she told you that
my
you didn't change your
highest
habits?
Weight ever was 477 pounds.
477.
Yep. So, but then I went on the 2 week, or actually I went on a month pre-op liquid diet, lost 30 pounds. Okay. So that did good. Initially I had the lap band in.
Okay. So you did 2 surgeries.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
What's the difference?
The lap band is invasive. They go in and they put a band around your stomach. There's laparoscopic incisions. There's no cutting, rerouting of your organs, intestines. So that's what I went home the same day, actually.
Okay.
The lap band, it's like a tunnel. Like this is your stomach, and this is the band around your stomach. And for every pound you lose, your stomach you have that gap. So they tighten it. There was a port in my stomach.
Oh.
Well, my body was like, oh no, this is a foreign object in my body. You're not going to do this. So I did lose about 100 pounds.
Oh.
But when they went into the revision, they saw the band had slipped, caused scar tissue, inflammation in my diaphragm, liver. And I was like, oh no. So I had to wait another 8 months to heal before they would proceed with the gastric bypass.
So then you went to the gastric bypass, which is the rerouting of your intestines.
Yes, they call it the Roux-en-Y or RNY.
Okay.
And they have several different, they have the gastric sleeve where people who maybe have 100 pounds to lose. I had, and I'm still losing, but I had way more than 100 pounds.
So you're about half of your weight now.
Yep.
How does that feel?
Liberating. I feel so liberated. I work out with a trainer 3 times a week. And you would have said 2 years ago, Gayle, come work out with a trainer. I was like, are you kidding me?
Uh-huh.
And this is a boot camp style training. Hey, Trevor. But
I think it's what, Dirty 30 or
Dirty 30.
30. I saw it
Dirty
on
30.
Facebook. I'm not bold enough to come and join y'all
Oh, you
yet.
should come.
I'm gonna think about it, but y'all have to pick me up off the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Now back to you, Miss
Right.
Fabulous.
Mhm.
225 pounds lighter. My
Yes.
special guest on Finally Free today is author Gayle Anderson. And she is the author of Effective Immediately. This is a novel. We'll talk about that. But I think one of the things is, watching you for over a year on Facebook and your posts and your pictures. I want the Fly Nubian Queen audience to know who you are.
Okay.
And then I would like for the followers today to please go and subscribe to the Fly Nubian Queen Network.
Okay.
This is the network for melanated women like you and me. And then we have some kings that come on by to see how they can support us.
Okay.
So how many years, you said for most of your life you were 30 pounds overweight?
Yeah. Since puberty, like I was a teenager, I was always that little chubby girl.
Uh-huh.
But
So I'm sure you were teased and taunted.
yes, and kids can be very, very cruel, and that's another thing that I want to advocate as far as like that, because children are committing suicide because they're being teased about their weight or being different. And my mother always taught me to be the best that I can be, no matter what the size.
Okay.
She said, "Don't go outside looking crazy," And so I would emulate her and my grandmother. I mean, my grandmother would be dressed to the nines on Sunday in these big hats, and she took time to make sure she looked good. So I get my values from my mom and my grandmother. But, I knew I was overweight. We have to go the extra miles as an overweight, heavier person, because our skinny counterparts can go out with shorts and sweats and catch 10 dudes.
Well, okay. When I looked up the word BBW, Big Beautiful Women, I was like, well, what size? And it's size 14.
That's, they considered Tyra Banks plus size. And I'm like, really?
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Tyra Banks?
Tyra Banks.
The Tyra Banks.
The Tyra Banks.
Look, I'm looking at, when I go see my doctor, she's like, you're obese. And I was like, look here, ma'am. Okay, I don't know where you got that.
Right.
But I'm not obese. I'm big boned.
Okay.
And then somebody said, I've never seen a fat skeleton. So anyway.
Right.
So all of your life you struggled. What was your smallest weight that you can remember?
I probably was, when I graduated, I remember my senior year. That takes me back to a senior in high school. I was maybe 170.
Okay.
And I was in between a size 17 and a size 18.
Did you feel great then?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
So you talked about being married.
I've been married twice.
That's okay.
Yes,
Join
ma'am.
the club, honey. You got a t-shirt?
And,
okay, I'm going to give you mine.
I got a bumper sticker to go with it,
Yeah,
too.
yeah. And then my shirt's coming out called Finally Free. So
Okay.
anyway, I almost
Yes,
did 10
ma'am.
years, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did 7. I was waiting for that Social Security girl.
Okay.
Come on now. Come on. But I found myself, Lord.
I know
Okay.
that's right.
So all of your life, high school. Now you mentioned that you got married. So were you like that nice size when you first got married and then you started having problems?
The first time I was, still that high school, because I married at 23.
Me too.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't regret it, because everything that happened is a life lesson.
23.
23.
You look back, you look at some of the 23-year-olds today and you're like,
oh, no, they're not ready. My niece is 24 and she's still turning it up, Just City.
your brain does not fully develop until you're about 23 or 25.
I agree now.
So, I look back and go, what was I doing? You're running.
Right.
What was your reason for getting married at 23?
He was my childhood sweetheart. We've known each other since we were 12 and 13, and we knew we loved each other, which we generally did. But he had some issues that he needed to deal with before he got married. He was not a great husband. He was still growing up himself. He was 24.
Yeah. Well, y'all both did,
I know.
Okay.
But we married 10. We were never together the full 10 years, but we were married 10 years. And so after I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, I divorced.
So did you start putting on weight during the marriage?
Not until the second marriage.
The second. Okay. Let's take us to this. How long did the first one last?
The first one lasted 10 years. We were separated 8.
Oh,
I'm sorry. We were together 8. We were separated 2 out of those 10 years.
Okay.
So, but during the separation, I met my second husband.
Okay. Okay.
And so we, start talking, and he's a musician. I'm a sucker for a musician. Drums.
Oh, girl, tell me about it.
I know. It's like, okay.
Singers.
Yes, Lord. But he played the saxophone, the piano, and everything. Wow. So he's very talented. And we met, and after we met, we married about 18 months later. And he's from Detroit.
Okay.
So we met, and I call it the happy pound.
The what?
The happy pounds.
The happy
I was
pounds.
happy and then newlywed,
Mhm.
and we were eating all the time and going out to eat and cooking. What's that? So we just kind of enjoyed each other.
Did he grow with you?
A little. He didn't grow as much physically.
Okay. So how many pounds? How many happy pounds did you pack on when you got
About
married?
50.
Ooh, that you was
About 50.
you was very very happy.
That's what I said. I said I must have been just smiles and happy and snacks everywhere, But yeah, it. And then I drove for the Kansas City, Missouri School District, so that's a kind of sedentary job. You drive, all you do
Yeah.
is
So
sit.
you're sitting.
Yes, for days. I mean,
Okay.
for hours on end, and
Yeah.
so you eat when you can, which
Uh-huh.
is pull the bus over and go to McDonald's, grab you something to eat, and sit and drive again.
Isn't that the truth?
Right.
Mhm.
And then I suffered an injury.
An injury. What kind of injury?
I was allergic to lisinopril. First time I was diagnosed with hypertension.
Okay.
The doctor gave my ex-husband, my then husband at the time, he said, "Well, you have any problems with it?" He said, "No." He said, "I'm going to give you the same thing." Within
So he lost weight.
he
No,
lost some.
So he had high blood pressure as well.
Yes.
Okay.
I was diagnosed with hypertension at 33, first time ever.
Wow.
And so he gave me that, and within 2 or 3 days, I had the anaphylaxis reaction, which my lips swelled, my throat closed. They rushed me. It was that serious that they rushed me past a pregnant woman to intubate me. My throat was closing.
Oh
And
my.
during that process, it did clamp shut, during the intubation process. And I woke up fighting whoever I could. And as a result, I suffered 2 bulging discs. And I walked in the hospital on my own accord. I left 5 days later out of ICU with a wheelchair. And mind you, they put I was on a ventilator. They put me in an induced coma on a ventilator, which was the weirdest thing, to have something to do your breathing for you.
Yeah.
And my main concern was, I did like this. I didn't know her sign language back then. I do now. But I was like, did they cut my throat? That was my main concern, because they said, if your throat clamped shut, we're going to have to.
And you would have lost your voice.
Yes. I was mortified. And at 33, still newly married.
So how long was the second marriage?
That was for 8 years.
8 years. Girl, you go long term, don't you?
We've had longevity, but I mean, he's a hard worker. I'll give him his props. He's a great father.
I love
great provider.
I love that.
But he sucked as a husband.
For some of us, and here on the show, I always say this: we got to take ownership, right? Because we're not we're either volunteers, especially when we know what's going on. So we'll get back to that in just a second.
Okay.
So 8 years in,
Yep.
You had children.
No, not children. He has children. He had 2 daughters.
So you're doing the stepmom thing.
Yep.
You stepped up and became a mother.
Yes. So I was like thrown into. Sorry, I know we fought custody and got custody of the girls. So, but it was like I was thrown into motherhood. I wasn't ready to be a mom right then, and so I had to adapt real quickly.
So let's talk about your move from 170 what?
Probably about 175, 180
to over 400.
Yep. And
that was a gradual step, or did you just? I mean, was there a moment you woke up and you're like, "This is ridiculous"?
It was a gradual step.
Okay.
I mean, the happy pounds came on, and then with the injury. Okay.
So now you can't
move around.
Were you still driving the bus?
No. I left in 2004.
Okay.
To be a stay-at-home wife, mom.
Okay.
And so, because of the back, I don't know if you've experienced like any issues with your back, but it was excruciating. It was new to me. And I finally said, I know how people feel if they're disabled or in wheelchairs and they can't get around. It's so frustrating. And so I began to go to physical therapy, and it was a process, but the steroids they gave me, and then because I couldn't really stand in the kitchen to cook for long periods of time, I got whatever was comfortable and consuming more calories than I was burning. Yeah. So weight start putting on and put on. And I told my grandmother, I said, I'm not sitting in front of the refrigerator with a large mixing bowl and a ladle.
Yeah.
It's just I wasn't active. And when you're not active, if you consume 3,200 calories and you only burning 1,000.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That weight will.
So when did you go from happy weight to just, I'm depressed, I'm upset, I'm going to eat this whole bag of chicken?
Yeah, I believe when it was to the point where I walked in on my ex-husband and his office clerk for DirecTV. And that was when the pivotal moment of, walked in.
So you had left the day. You wasn't home that day. And then you left to like go to the grocery store or something?
No, it was actually her place.
Well, what did you do? How'd you end over at her
you know,
house?
women's intuition is.
Girl, don't tell me you got in the car and you
I
just,
did.
okay.
And I had my, hair tied up in a ponytail. I had my tennis shoes on, and
Did you open up a can of whoop?
I did.
You what?
I did because I had been telling him previously. I said she's after you. Oh no 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 no! Because I remember one time she called because she's a payroll clerk, and so she has interaction
She
with him.
handling the money.
Yeah, and so she called.
And your man. Okay,
and my
come on,
man.
girl.
She handled him more than that. Yeah, so she
Mm.
called and she had he had a cell phone he had on speaker, and she did the Marilyn Monroe. Hey you.
But that sounds good. You sound great. Okay, come on. Hey you. What else?
Hey you. And so he dropped the phone like it was a hot potato. Remember that game we used to play, the kid hot potato?
Yeah, because you were standing there.
Yes.
When she said, hey you.
Hey you.
Uh-huh.
So that was the first ding 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 ding. I was like, oh, and I didn't say nothing. I just
Did you think it was your fault though? Because you had put on all this weight. And a lot of women, we will say it's because I let myself go.
No, I don't think it was my fault because he was getting heavy too. You know, he's a big. I love big men. Gerald Levert, teddy bear type.
Okay.
That's my
Okay.
yeah. So he was a heavy guy. I think it was because, I'm here working. He's working. I'm taking care of the kids. I felt like a single parent,
Okay.
and so I complained. We never see you. We never spend time with you. But here it is. He's spending time at the office with girl.
Hey you.
Hey you.
Okay. So you hear the hey you.
Yeah.
And
that women's intuition.
You go to her house.
Yeah.
Now, how did you know where she lived?
Well, we were on our way to Detroit for Christmas or Thanksgiving, and we were dropping some payroll information off, and she stayed not too far from the job.
Mm-hmm.
So
you remember?
I did that one time.
You got over there.
Mm-hmm.
His cable truck was there.
His company vehicle was parked in her one car garage,
and he wasn't hooking up no cable.
Not at 2 o'clock in the morning. And I wrote a song about it.
Did you say 2 o'clock in the morning?
2 a.m.
You wrote a song?
Yes.
What's the name of it?
2 a.m. It's on because I used to manage artists.
Oh.
So I wrote, but the 2 a.m. now is about a man wondering where his wife is.
Okay.
And actually he produced it.
Your former husband.
Yes.
We call him husbands, honey.
Husbands.
He was your husband.
Okay, yes.
This is deeper than I thought.
Okay, yeah.
Welcome to Finally Free. I'm your host, Professor Dolores Jones, and my special guest is author Gayle Anderson. Not only is she an author, she dropped 225 pounds, and she has begun to embrace something called size acceptance. I want you to do me a favor and make sure you subscribe to the Fly Nubian Queen Network. That's right. This is the network for melanated women like you and even Gayle. So Gayle, you catch your husband with the payroll clerk
right
at 2 a.m. At her house.
Yes.
He I guess he thought you thought he was working overtime.
Yeah.
So you ring the doorbell?
No, ma'am.
Okay. They were outside?
I didn't ring nobody's doorbell.
You just opened the door?
Okay, Melanie lives in Green Valley. Maybe I shouldn't have said her name, but she lives in Green Valley. And sometimes when you stay out in the suburbs,
they don't lock the door.
Yeah, you leave your garage door wide down in the hood.
Don't tell me you went to the garage.
I did.
You went through the garage?
Yes, ma'am.
And they didn't hear it going up?
No. The garage door was open.
With your husband's car? And hers?
And hers behind
Okay, so
his.
come on. It's 2:30 in the morning. Come on.
It's 2 a.m.
Because this will make me want to fight too. Come on.
Okay, right. And so I knew her bedrooms were in the back, but I never, I could, from the living room, I could see when I visited that one time.
Yeah.
But it was pitch black. I opened the door. Now, again, my ex-husband has a very, very sexy voice, that Barry White type voice. And
okay, so what did you hear?
I heard his voice.
What did he say?
He laughed.
He said,
yeah, that chuckle that makes me, he laughed.
Yeah, okay.
So I followed the voices. I still didn't know what or where her bedroom was. Just following the voices. It's pitch black, mind you. I didn't bump into anything. And next thing you know, I guess I found the light switch, and bam,
they was in the bed.
But naked he was as the day he was born.
Was she saying hello?
No, she didn't say it this time.
What's she saying when she saw you?
Is this a PG show?
Yeah.
Okay, so I gotta keep it nice. What she said?
Yeah, be nice.
She said, "B, what are you doing in my house?"
That's what she said?
Yes.
And then what did you say?
It was met with my fist.
You hit her?
I did. Yeah, because she knew that was my husband. There was no way, and that was not an accident. You just don't slip.
Okay, so this was your motivation to lose weight after you hit her in the face?
Not even then.
Okay. So, honey, you didn't catch a case, did you?
No, I did not.
Okay, good.
And then she said, and I said, word for the wise. I said, you may want to start locking your door if you want to have women, people's husbands. She says, well, this is my house. I said, okay, play at your own risk. And
but go ahead.
He tried to turn it. He tried to turn it around like it was my fault.
Okay, let's get to that point, because that's where we can relate for real. Now, I ain't went in nobody's house and hit them in the face now.
Yeah.
But so now he flips the script and he wants you to believe that the reason he was in there bumping booties is because of you.
Yeah.
What did he say?
Well, you're doing this, and I said, you complaining. I said, well, I'm raising your children. I feel like a single parent. We don't see you. He was working 12, 13, 14-hour days, 7 days a week for a whole month.
Okay.
And the weight never came up, because I did ask him. I said, when I got the lap band, I said, why do you tell me I was this big? He said, I don't see you as a big person. I see you as Gayle. Okay. So for him, it really never was an issue
of weight.
Yeah, but now this was when MySpace was real popular.
Okay.
So she would put little quirks.
What kind of
like
quirks?
Little smart comment that would ordinarily probably get her beat up real bad, but she
that dealt with weight.
Yes.
Do you remember any of them?
I remember she called me a hog.
Oh
yeah, but she wasn't I'm like, you.
Well, how do you know she was talking to you?
Because she'll make little dabs like, well, I love your husband. I had your husband. Oh, I know. You already know. You seen us. So I know. Yeah. Ordinarily, I probably would have caught a case.
How did you withstand or withhold from going back to that house, honey?
It was really hard. First of all, it breaks you down. A woman,
of course,
should never really have to, first of all, see or hear that. But what I was told is when you see is versus when you hear something, it's different. But when you see it, it is branded in your brain.
Because she put it in print.
Yes.
And so now you're struggling with your husband. Your husband has already said to you, he's flipped the script. He's telling you it's your fault that he's in the bed with the payroll clerk.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so then the payroll clerk, she has the audacity to go on, what was it called?
MySpace.
Mm-hmm. And say, I had your husband.
Yeah. Oh, I know. She said, she basically like, I love your husband. I had your husband. Oh, because you were a witness to it, basically.
And then she called you a hog.
Oh, yeah. She called me a hog. But I'm like, you're 2 Twinkies away from, you're not that small. And
you know what? First of all, I admire the fact that you didn't go back over there.
Yeah, it was tempting.
I'm sure it was. It's in print.
Right.
So so now your husband has blamed you. Did you show him the post that the lady did?
Yeah, and he basically stayed for page. He's a stay for page.
He didn't go check her?
No.
Okay, is that when you said, I'm out of here?
Well, no.
Okay.
We didn't. We moved it. He got a opportunity to, between all this time, that's when I started writing Effective Immediately.
Okay, so Effective Immediately is your book.
Yes.
Now, does it have any of this juicy stuff that you've been telling us about?
It does have the characters that if you read it, you'd be like, oh, that's Gayle. Oh, that's my ex-husband. Both ex-husbands are in there.
You put both of them in
I
there?
did. I just changed the names to protect the not so innocent.
Yeah, girl, we're going to have to talk.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. It can fit in your purse.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. So you wrote this book.
Right.
You're writing the book in the midst of
healing. Physically and mentally.
Okay.
This was my escape.
Is he continuing with the affair as you're writing this book called Effective Immediately?
In my former life, I was a spy. So I would go into his laptop and to see, and I called email. She says, well, Ron, by this, we had moved to Wichita, Kansas by this time.
Okay.
He took a position as a site manager. So I did go, and it said that, well, Ron, you're just not that busy to call me, answering my calls. And she said, I'm just going to leave you be, and I hope things work out. So at one point, I know he did stop talking to her.
Okay.
But my thing is, if you didn't cut the tail off the steak, it's going to creep back in.
But my point is, let's get back to him blaming you. And when did you realize it's not your fault that he was in bed with someone else? And he kept telling you, I don't see you as a big woman. At what, how much did you weigh at that time?
The weight was still coming on.
So were you like at 300?
I was maybe about 320.
Okay.
And just being depressed. Like I said, I was in the house, and I was active as a co-parent, taking the kids to parent-teacher conferences. They were at 2 different schools. So while
these were his daughters.
His daughters. And
you married in, and now you have his daughters that you're taking care of, and you're not seeing him.
Right. And all the while, their mother is giving me crap. So it's a lot that entails.
Girl, and then you went and wrote a book.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is great therapy. We'll talk about this book too, honey.
Right. It was.
This is positive. This is a way to put your anger out there.
Most definitely.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, I can't wait to read it too. Okay. So now you are in this marriage, and you stayed for 8 years.
I did.
Did you leave after you finished the book?
No, I didn't leave, but we were at the point where we were just not talking to each other right. I had no respect for him, nor did he.
Why did you stay so long? 8 years.
I really did love him. This was year 6. I was like, when I first met him, I was like, this is it.
Mhm.
Why would I need to search for anything else? Because this is the man who, and he treated me very well for 6 years.
Okay.
Come 7 and 8, and that's when the other woman got in there, and so she still was allowed to stay in contact. He didn't just break that off completely, and our marriage could not withstand it. So actually, he filed for divorce.
Okay. Now, how
Mhm.
did you feel about that?
I felt betrayed. Um, I felt that he was being dishonest
Did
because
you blame yourself?
in a way, I did.
Did you? Is that the point where you said, "I woke up hating myself"? Did you ever say that? I hate myself.
I hate that I allowed myself to continue to be in that situation,
Mhm.
to let love blind me like that. Because when you're really in love with somebody, you throw common sense to the wayside.
That's true.
Like, where is common sense? I lost it, give it back. But
Mhm.
I really love this man, and I was hurt. I had to go online and pay my $2 to see that he had filed for divorce. He didn't even tell me.
So you were abandoned. You
Yep.
were overweight. You were betrayed,
Mm-hmm.
and you wrote a book.
Yep.
Where did you find the strength to do all of that?
I believe it or not, I get it from my mother.
Okay.
Our relationship is rocky now, but I saw how she raised 2 girls by herself, and I saw how my father who raised me, would hit her in her face, and she still would go to work and provide for 2 girls, and it was not easy. So I saw all of that, stuff that was embedded in my mind. So I just kept pushing through, and we did divorce. I stayed in Wichita because my niece was in high school.
Mhm.
Instead of coming back home and let her, finish out her senior year. But in the midst of it, it's like, I need something to do.
So in just a moment, I want you to take us to the point where you drop the 0 and you drop all this weight.
Mm-hmm.
You're listening to Finally Free with me, Dolores Jones, your comeback coach. My special guest is author Gayle Anderson. She dropped 225 pounds, divorced twice, embraced size acceptance. We're going to get into that.
Mhm.
And she wrote a book, Effective Immediately. Do me a favor, make sure you subscribe to the Fly Nubian Queen Network and like the video and share the video. This is the way we grow and we love. So you drop the 0, which you
Mhm.
still have respect for him, which is great. That
Yeah.
means a sign of healing.
Right.
When did you start dropping these pounds?
Well, the pounds still were coming on. Then the knees went bad because of all the weight.
Okay.
And I enrolled in school, just more or less first to bide my time, just something to do. So until my niece graduate, and then as I said, I enrolled in school maybe a week or 2 later. That's when I had the stroke. And I'm divorced. I'm newly divorced. So I mean, within
So
weeks.
were you 33 when you divorced the second time?
No, I was 33 when I married. I was around 41.
Okay, 41. And you're still in your 40s. I mean,
Mhm.
so this hasn't been too long
No,
ago.
7 years ago.
Okay, 7 years ago.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, 7
Okay.
years. I've been single. Well, I was single for 7 years.
Yeah, we saw your boo on your Facebook page.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
We'll talk about that later.
Right.
Okay. So you started, did you have an aha moment? What was the aha moment? I know you talked about you had a stroke
Mhm.
and the doctor said if you don't stop this, then
Mhm.
you're going to be a pretty face in the
In the
casket.
That's right.
Now, when I saw some of your pictures on Facebook, I'm not at that point yet
Mhm.
where I put the before and after pictures,
Mhm.
but you do that.
Now I am.
Okay.
Mhm.
How did you even decide to do that?
I have a page on Facebook called Confessions of a Fat Girl When Determination Trumps a Failure.
Is that your Facebook page?
Mhm, that's for my weight loss.
Confessions?
Yes, Confessions of a Fat Girl
So you can find her page, Confessions of a Fat Girl.
When Determination Trumps a Failure.
Girl, that should be a title of a book.
And it's the inception of my weight loss journey.
Yes.
5-6 years ago, up until now, I chronicle everything, and
This
I'm
is
candid.
great.
I'm
This
very
is great.
candid.
Okay.
It is something that and I've seen pictures at my heaviest. Actually, I found one the other day.
Okay.
And to see that picture is like, Lord have mercy. Why didn't anybody tell? Y'all have to tell me this because
Did they tell you, oh, you're pretty?
Yeah.
Because you are beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Right? Like you know how they used to say you're pretty in the face but thick in the waist?
Yes.
And so for a while, did you like lie to yourself for a long time, like I'm happy, I'm me,
Yeah.
I'm gonna deal with it.
Right.
Right.
And that's how it typically is. I'm going to continue to get my nails and hair done and keep myself, even though I'm a big girl, keep myself up so people won't talk about me.
Mhm.
Because even we'll talk about that as well.
Okay.
Even the plus size community, you're met with adversary with other women.
No.
Oh yes, ma'am.
People who are just like us are mad at us.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about this plus community
Yeah.
and the hatred in the plus size community.
Yes.
What is it?
Well, I lost weight.
You started losing weight,
started losing
so they
weight.
felt betrayed.
I don't know. More or less, I got more attention, and the attention for the men is really overwhelming
Right now.
Yes.
And what's your size, if you don't mind?
I'm about a size. I'm still like not quite. Now the 18-20 is different
Okay.
than it was back then.
Yeah.
Now I found my curves. I don't know where they were.
Well, I
lost.
saw them curves, girl. I saw them on Facebook, like because you posted a picture and then your waist was like, ooh.
Yeah, the waist was snatched, and I went to go work.
And you had the same dress on, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah,
you did the
yeah.
before and the after.
Right. Oh yeah, that one.
Would you say the waist was snatched?
Yeah, the waist was snatched. I was like, oh, I got a waist. And,
Okay.
There's still insecurities about my body, but I tell you,
What are some of those?
well, with weight loss surgery, your skin is not going to snap back.
Okay.
The first thing to go are your breasts. That's the first thing to go.
The breasts are gone.
Yes, they'd be like, bye-bye, we'll see you later. We
Okay.
loved you. It was good while we were there. But, and then sure, I don't have like my arms. I'm not worried about my arms. But there are excess skin, which I'm trying to tone and work out. But it will never be like I am at 18 unless I get corrective surgery.
Are you going to do that?
I'll probably get a tummy tuck and that's it.
You're not going to do anything with your arms?
No, I'm pretty.
You okay with that?
I'm okay with my arms.
What about your legs?
My legs, if I tone, I am going to get a knee replacement, but I want to tone my thighs a little bit more. That's why I work out with my trainer. And he shows no empathy or sympathy for us.
Yeah.
None.
I saw some of it.
Yes.
And I just turned the page.
Okay.
The one thing I love about you also on Facebook, and you said Confessions of a Fat Girl,
Mhm.
but I've been following you on author Gayle Anderson.
Yes.
But I'm going to go look at Confessions of a Fat Girl.
Okay.
I'm going to do that. But you've always looked gorgeous.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Always gorgeous.
I just don't want to be, you see unfortunately, some bigger people. And I was out just no makeup, just casual one day. And I saw this one lady and I was standing in front of her and she just didn't care how her feet looked. Or her hair looked, or how she was dressed. And I was like, I am not that woman. I was never that woman.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't look down, but it's just a few that makes people's misconception about big people. We're all fat.
What is it?
Which is
fat and sloppy.
Fat and sloppy. We eat all the time. We stink. We don't care about themselves. And that I was never that girl.
Okay.
Not even on my worst day. I was never that girl. I find some way to hop my butt in that shower and get myself together.
Wow.
But that's just me. It's I guess sheer will and determination, because I have time to sleep when I die. I don't want to go out and say, well, Gayle didn't do this. Like when I went to Atlantic City, I had on a swimsuit. And I didn't care who saw.
I know. I saw that. And you know what? Can I confess?
Yes.
I have not put on a swimsuit in years.
Why not?
You know what? I think it's my stomach.
Girl, look, I didn't care. My fupa, my stomach, whatever you want to call it. I didn't care.
And I'm about a size. It depends on what day it is. Okay. If I have some fries, come and find me in the 16 section.
Okay.
But comfortably a 16, but also a 14. And it just depends. It really depends. But I was online and I was trying to find a swimsuit that covered my midsection.
Wow.
But of course it's cute. Okay.
Right,
it had the fringes. But I thought, Dolores, you can wear a bikini.
You can. They have tankinis for plus size women, and I had for my trip east. Yeah, I had 4 swimsuits because I wanted choices. I ordered.
So were you on a beach or were you just?
I was in Atlantic City on the beach.
Girl, come on now, come on. So now you're strolling across the beach. Okay,
I got my cover up on though.
Got your cover up on,
right?
And then do you drop the cover up?
I sure did.
Okay, so tell us how you even got to that point.
It was my cousins and I, and I had been to Atlantic City many times over with my ex-boyfriend at the time. And I didn't think about, I kept a little cover up on. I wasn't going to go in the ocean. I never did. The 4 times I was there previously, I was like, I'm living my life. And I took off my little sundress and I took off my sandals and I went down. I had to walk in front of a crowd of people. And I did.
Do you ever hear, oh my God.
Yeah.
You ever heard that?
No.
So did you, I'm trying to figure out how you got to the point where you've already dropped your half of your weight. You were 4 something, you dropped 225 and you're still dropping, which is great.
Right.
But now you're just like, here I am, love me or leave me.
Take me or
What happened? How did it change? What was the breakthrough that you had?
it was a mind. It was a mind thing, and I wrote a poem about that as well. It's like because I'm sick of society looking down upon us. You
Mhm.
know, I may be big and big and heavy, but I'm not an ugly woman. And
Yeah.
so a lot of times people make you feel ashamed of your body, of how your body is.
Body shaming.
And that's why I said no. I embrace my curves, my hips that I got from my grandmother,
Uh-huh.
from my southern roots in Louisiana. I'm
Yeah.
going to embrace these hips because some men like them.
That's true, honey.
You know, I was like, the butt didn't go nowhere though.
But you still got the booty, girl.
Yeah, it did.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh Lord. But
Do you want the booty to leave?
just a little bit.
Okay.
Just a little bit,
But your waist now accentuates your booty.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Because you know what Erica Badu and them said, and Janelle Monáe said, the booty don't lie.
Okay, no.
I kept saying, well, what is the booty supposed to be lying about? I still ain't
Exactly.
picked it up in the song,
Me
though.
either.
Because booty don't lie.
Booty don't lie.
Okay, let's talk about size acceptance. That's a
Right.
new term.
Mhm.
What does that mean to you? How is it defined, and how do you get there?
To accept who I am now. If I never lose a pound in my life
Mm-hmm.
from here on, I'm happy.
Okay,
Now, I didn't do it for vanity's sake. I did it for health's sake,
health.
health reasons. So I'm at a happy place now, even though I'm still overweight. As I had my doctor classified me as my heaviest super morbidly obese.
Super morbidly obese.
Mhm. And I wasn't a candidate for my 600-pound life. I was never that big.
Did you even want to go on that show?
Oh no,
Okay.
they kind of. I've heard some of the things because my godniece was trying to get on the show. They actually encouraged her to put more weight because she wasn't 600 pounds.
Oh,
She was 4, maybe 5 something.
and one of the stars of that show, he passed away.
Really?
Yeah,
See,
not too long, maybe a couple of months ago.
wow. And surgery was. They said I had people say, well, why don't you do it the traditional way? I'm like, the traditional way is not working for me. This is for me.
So how did you get past the guilt? Because some people are like, well, she went and had a tummy tuck. She had a sleeve.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I
to
tell
that? What do
them.
you say to the haters?
I tell them, this is it. I simply got a tool. It is how I work that tool
Mhm.
that show positive results. I said because I didn't get the surgery and still eat the same way I used to. I'll be right back 477 pounds.
Mhm.
So
Have you ever fallen back? And then what did you do to, because like I said this morning, I was like, you feel horrible.
Well,
you ate that Big Mac at 1 o'clock in the morning.
we're human. We do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I have this love affair with this chewy candy that I love. I think it's Werther's. They have this caramel chewy candy, and I go from one addiction to another.
Okay.
But I don't eat M&Ms anymore since surgery. Now I'm stuck on this chewy candy. But since I was on the East Coast, I didn't eat as much. But I came back home. I got me a package of chewy candy. I don't eat just eat, but I have that throughout the day.
Just piece by piece.
Yes, instead of the whole bag. The old Gayle would have ate the whole bag.
So you do it in moderation.
Yes,
now.
and that's the key. Anything you do is don't deprive yourself completely. Have it in moderation.
Yeah.
Don't use it as a reward tool. Use it as, hey, well, okay, I'll grab this, get one piece of candy, and put it away.
What would you say is your secret and your key to size acceptance?
Embracing who you are.
But where does that come from?
I think for me it was like a light switch. Now, once I made the decision to lose weight, to effectively follow through with it,
because that's what your doctor said: lose weight or die.
Yeah,
it got to that point for you.
You're gonna,
okay,
and that wouldn't be too long. Okay. So I was like, let's do something. But to get myself to the point where I'm happy with size acceptance, even now, plus size, because I entered a pageant.
You did.
I did.
Tell us about it.
I have a bucket list of things.
Bucket list.
And that was one of them.
So you did a pageant?
I did a pageant.
And what is the pageant called?
It's called Big Beautiful Women International Pageant.
Okay.
And they're having another one.
How'd you do?
I didn't win the crown, but I won Best in Talent for my poem selection.
Do you know any of your poems?
Yes, I do.
Okay, come on and give us one.
It's called, what I won was this poem is called Should I Change?
Well, tell us.
All right. Should I change who I be because I'm a size 20 and not a size 3? Should I change who I be because society wants me to be who they think I should be? Should I change who I be because your first name begins with an M and ends with an E? Oops, Melanie. Catch on to
that. Okay.
Should I change who I be because you'll never amount to half the woman that's inside of me? And should I change who I be because coulda, shoulda, woulda had that last bite of cheesecake? Yes, please. And finally, should I change? No, wait a minute. I'll stay unchanged because I'm loving me some me.
Girl, you better come on. What they do? Snap,
Snap, snap.
snap, snap. Should I change?
Should I change?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is author Gayle Anderson. She is the author of Effective Immediately. Now, we're watching her and listening on the Fly Nubian Queen Network. I'm Dolores Jones, by the way, your comeback coach. Let me tell you something. You took your pain and you put it inside of a book and poetry.
Mm-hmm.
For some people, it takes a spiritual awakening. Did you have any aspect of your change from a spiritual place, or just a lot of affirmation, a lot of support group? I mean, where did it come from?
Well,
I know you looked at the strength of your mother.
Yes.
Okay.
But my aspiration with even finishing college and doing something about my weight was my grandmother and my father, who had passed away during a 4-year period.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother, she died of old age.
Okay.
And she was a true inspiration. I mean, I have tattoos with her name on it.
Pretty girl, you were tatted up too. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But Zephyr is my grandmother's name, and means like the wind. She was my huge inspiration. And my dad, he died 2 weeks before I was going to go see him, and I said, "Well, Dad, I'll see you in 2 weeks," and he didn't make it. Mm-hmm. So that was dedicated to them, with graduating, finish my mission, finishing what I started.
Finishing what you started.
Yes. And I wanted them, even though they're not here physically on earth, I know they see me, I wanted them to be proud of their daughter, their granddaughter. And that's what keeps me pushing forward no matter what.
Yeah.
Are them. And then my my faith. Sure, I have faith in God. He saw me through many a night.
Yeah.
Literally blood, sweat, and tears. I'm up at 3:00 in the morning writing papers. I'm like, why? I quit. That's it. And so, but I pushed through. And even with my weight loss, I met 2 wonderful women, and they said, "Well, hey, come work out with me, and you'll like it. And the first session is free." And I got there and I liked it. So I've been working out since January of this year, and I'm down about 20 pounds
from the 225.
Mm-hmm.
Gone.
Yeah, we've been at it. I mean,
you change your eating habits?
I do.
Okay, so what do you eat? Proud about that?
My stomach is the size of a small orange, so I can't eat what you would feed maybe a 3 or 4 year old is probably what I could eat plus leftovers.
And you're satisfied with that?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Do you ever binge anytime?
No, never.
Never?
My body. Okay, I remember my first Thanksgiving after weight loss surgery, and I got a little bit of this, a teaspoon of this, and my mother's broccoli and cheese casserole, and just a little bit of everything. And that one last, I never do clean my plate off ever. That one last bite sent me, it was so painful.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, it hurt. So it was like,
because your stomach is small as an orange.
Yes, it's pretty small. And back then it probably was a size. I was still early out, so it was probably the size of an egg.
Yeah,
egg. Yeah, and so that was so painful. I said never again. And I did it maybe twice more, but no. When I feel that fullness, I stop.
Just push your plate away.
Yeah, because we're taught to clean our plates. You're not leaving that spot until you clean your plate. That is
so true.
Yeah.
You better not get up from that table without cleaning that plate.
Exactly.
I did the same thing at Olive Garden last night.
Did you?
And my son and I, we learned this because, when you're a favored single mother on a budget, instead of trying to buy 2 entrees, I would buy one and we would share it, the steak gorgonzola. And so to this day, when we go eat, we still share half.
Okay.
And so I'm like, here's my little portion. And I didn't clean the whole plate. I mean, I ate all the steak though. Okay.
Right.
But I thought, you don't have to do that. You can just push it away.
Right.
Push it away. Right. Push it away. Before we run out of time, of course, on the KW section, but we'll continue here on Fly Nubian Queen.
Okay.
Just want to tell people how to get in contact with you. Go ahead.
Sure. If you want to, I do have a fans page on Facebook, but look under Author Gayle Anderson. That's my Facebook page. I have to get my website back up again. It's kind of lost in transition.
And do you have Confessions of a Fat Girl on Facebook too?
Confessions of a Fat Girl When Determination Trumps a Failure. And Fat Girl is PHT.
PhD. Like pretty hot and tempting.
Yes.
All right. So I'm Dolores Jones, your comeback coach. We're going to continue this live discussion on the Fly Nubian Queen Network. I'm going to sign off now here on KUAW. And I just want you guys to come on Facebook and we'll finish because we're going to talk about Confessions of a Fat Girl with author Gayle Anderson. All right. Stay tuned. Mr. Walker, are we going to continue to tape